started.
Okay, we're here back for part 2.
Okay, well, I think that part 2 is not going to be very long here, but mainly it's the way that when I find out about the guaranteed way of getting rid of all of our colors there and bringing them back, that would be a really good thing. So this one is, you should just be able to go in here and remove all colors or reload all colors or get rid of them. Reset swatches, you should be able to do you should be able to do that really quickly. So when I figure out, or Gary, when you figure out what that was, I did it last night. I thought, oh, I've got it. And then I thought that I put it in my new revision, but that's going to be an important thing if you guys are going to need to get rid of your swatches. So I have a note here to make sure that I find out and then send that out to you. So remove all swatches.
Yeah, I Google searched it when I did this layout 6 days ago, and
Yeah.
I don't recall the steps, but it was very straightforward on the latest version of Photoshop.
It was really, yes. And when I discovered it, it was also straightforward.
Yep.
When I was working on redesigning this, I don't think I even wrote it in there because it was so obvious. So that's interesting. But I'll send it out to you since most of you are in the process of working on this one. And just seeing, going to go in and look at some of the finished ones again. And I'll just tuck this over here on the side. And get this up. The choreography of online teaching and demonstrating is really tricky for stuff like this. Trying to get all of the characters in place, and this really helps to see these finished ones. And I think that we may have one that we didn't see down here. Oh, this is a lovely one. Yeah, as I got in and started messing around, I was even more impressed with this. So things like how you get your work on the page so that all of the information that you're trying to convey is apparent. And you have an odd thing happening here where you've got the 3 tertiary colors and the 1 complementary color, and they don't really, they have type that goes with them, and it's really hard to make them balance out. I think that if I had done this one, I might have flipped the colors so that the colors may have been over here next to the edge. I don't know. It's just when I was trying to do one on my own, I did get tangled up with this final logistic of getting the color swatches and the names of them to carry to the viewer and enhance or support the look of the image that you've just put so much time into and created. So this one, I wish I could see the layers in it, but you can see that this is a shape with a gradient in it, and these are, the tree is all drawn in one layer, and you can use the colors that are part of this mix. So these are all the three colors are in here, and they're everything but the type except for open season, which looks like there's another color in there. What do you think? Looks like this is not a mix of all these four. It could be. This could be a 100% mix of the three tertiary colors at a value, dark value. Might be. And she might say that in here. So that's the other thing, is how you explain what you did. And so she used that color for her text. And she doesn't say about anything more about this here. But again, the setting up the page so it carries in the most beautiful way for the viewer by not interrupting it as much as possible and supporting it. So you, like taking color harmony on a picnic is a kind of poetic invitation to enjoy it. And so wording can matter at this point, and the way that the text is organized is certainly an important element. I think this is good. And this one's very simple and kind of modern feeling. And I think that it's on the whole kind of successful in the way that it got a kind of looseness here. But I might, the squares going up to the image here, I would probably find another alignment and maybe get, there is this alignment up here, but I might ignore that and come down here to give this more white space, though it also works just kind of percolating up from the bottom, where it's going from being a crowded space to an uncrowded space. For the name, I probably would have said something about, hey, well, what about your alignment? But everything is kind of floating. And so this bloom up here floating, and these are in the same font. So this one and this down here. So it kind of goes like this. So that, and it feels like this would look a little bit stiff if it were aligning right here. So there were some good decisions made, I think, on this one. It's a tricky one because of the openness of the image itself. It's got a lot of white space behind it. And that's another tip. If you're having trouble finishing, maybe just simplify what you're doing and let it serve the purpose. So this has the three, sort of looks like a Marimekko, super modern, very simple design. And so that would be something to consider too. So I think that we've seen all of these. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I don't think I have any more of those to look at, but that would be something that you would want to go back and just double check on these. And I might be able to come up with some more examples and post them. And if I do, I'll let you know that I've done that.
Beth,
Yeah.
I just managed to recreate what I did 6 days ago with deleting the swatch group folders. So I sent you a screenshot that spells it out.
Okay. And so that's in our.
Your email, you and John. In the latest version of Photoshop, I show you how to select all the folders and delete them. It's really simple.
All right. Hey, Ben.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm late.
No problem. I'm glad you're here.
I slept in.
Oh, good. Sleeping in is good. Is this it?
I'm not used to online classes.
I'm not either.
No, those are the my
Those are
files.
the old ones. Okay.
It'll have that artwork in it, but it'll show the tool panel on the right as well. It's a screenshot. It's a really low res file. You should see it soon.
Yeah, it'll appear. I'll just keep this kind of down there. Yeah, so just being aware that once you start making the layers, it's like, well, for me anyway, it's like play, because there are all of these unexpected surprises that happen when you switch the layers around and make them go away, make them come back, leave some, remove some, all of those kinds of things. It's very, uh, it's good for your mind, I think, to do this kind of stuff, because you're making decisions on a level that you don't in other cases. So you're making artistic decisions, design decisions, and even if you're brand new at it, you're using everything you've brought to the party to the point where you're looking at something to make a decision about whether it's something you want to keep or throw away or add to, or um, all the possibilities. So it's really good exercise for your designer mind to do that kind of thing. So that's this particular project will allow you to play in that way. So design in its uh, best form is play, and it gets to be work when your design isn't working out and you've got a deadline, and all of a sudden all of your kind of reasoning that is more nimble and creative just sort of flattens out. So you have to kind of try to cultivate that sense, and that a lot of times that can happen if you go to sleep in between. If you have a chance to go away and do something else and come back, then just just the change of time and space and can make you see things in another way. So those are some of the things to remember as you may think that you're struggling with something. Just go away and leave it alone for a while. And okay, inbox. Is this the latest one, two? Is this
No, that's the one I'd sent you. Yeah, I
yeah,
noticed. I guess their networks are just inundated, but I noticed
yeah.
things are going real slow these days. It's still holding up though. I know other folks have had failed systems, depending on where you are geographically.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's eking along.
I think it's pretty fortunate to have things as smooth as they are.
Absolutely. We got a decent
And
infrastructure.
also, our county is still one of the strongest, I think, because of something we've done. I don't know. I haven't checked the state statewide statistics about how people are doing.
Oh yeah, well, we've been
Feedback
vigilant too.
has been doing really well.
Yeah, I read a really funny article about a bunch of guys who came over from Fremont. They were basically coming over to party for some odd reason. Like now's the time to be doing that. But they got $1,000 tickets each, 7 of them. Not the time to be walking on the Pacific Garden Mall.
Yeah, so you have to be, yeah, you have to be very careful. Everybody's doing a good job of it around here.
I think so.
Yeah. God, I wonder if there's another sneaky way to send it.
Probably uploading to a system. I don't know which ones are taxed more than others.
People have talked about turning in their work into Canvas.
Right. Well, like John was saying, getting the files, file upload system in order so that you guys can actually get the native files, the PSDs, the InDesign files, instead of just screenshots, which is what I was describing.
Yeah. We want to see this. Well, I think that one of the things we can do is go and look at some of the other what's coming up. Let me see if I have the InDesign. Okay. This is, I'm looking at this in InDesign right now. So this is me, let's go up and see what I did here. So earlier I was saying that I was going in here and changing this. So these are my expand panel arrows, and this is the drop-down menu that's not called the drop-down menu. And so I'm trying to improve the instructions. So this is in InDesign, bringing the original into InDesign. And let's see what I said right here for this. Okay, you get that dialog box. That's the preset. Now see, the problem was we went in and clicked once on that first swatch, and it was a finger, it wasn't an arrow. It didn't allow me to select the first swatch when we were working in Photoshop just now. Isn't that what happened? Because this is what I was trying to do right here. And it worked when I tested it here on just quickly, it seemed to work. But when we tried to do it just now, it didn't work. Also, something to know about in InDesign, see how rough this is over here? The pixely right here, the color wheel, all pixely. So when you go up to view in InDesign, up here into view, and you come down to display performance, and you've got fast, typical, and high quality. Oh, see how crispy it got? I didn't know if I can do an undo on that. Nope. So just so you're aware of that. And so this piece is, this is an InDesign job. I didn't do the original one. Margaret Lose did this, but it's quite a structure. So each of these little text frames here are put in place, and then they're all grouped together. So this is, we're going to be going into InDesign next for the final project. So taking a look at one of these projects in InDesign is informative. You probably won't be going to this extent, but this is essentially what we have as teachers in DM1 have been doing for years is updating our assignments and creating new assignments. And so all of these are pieces in here. So we've got a piece there and pieces here like that and chunks like that. And all of the typesetting that goes on in here in InDesign, the indents and so forth are something that you won't be doing a lot of for the final, but you'll be doing some of that. And so then this is just showing the final, this person's final project. And let's take a look at that in there.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, and so these are just all of the guidelines that they use to keep the page together. They all go away when it's printed. So those are all just to keep that together. But this is what we do in InDesign to make these projects that we used to be able to hand out on paper. You remember back when we used to have go into this room. It's called a classroom. We used to go into it and we used to they had the desks. You could sit down or a table.
That sounds familiar, but it also sounds a little unbelievable.
With,
Paper? What's paper?
The paper was this flat stuff. It's made out of ground up wood and different plants. So it's pulverized and then it's flattened out and then dried. And
This is sheer science fiction now. It's just you're just coming up with stuff off the top of your head, aren't you?
Yeah,
we used to use printers to print on that paper. We did. I mean, even yeah, but it's that's not really happening anymore much. So when I'm teaching the class in print, it becomes like abstract because we're making PDFs and sending them out.
So Beth, while the email's turtling, I think I found a workaround. I just uploaded the image file to the Zoom group chat. So folks, if you can open it, let me know, but that's a one screenshot pictorial of what you need to do.
Zoom group chat. Is that in, John? I need you now.
At the bottom of your screen, there's a chat link.
The bottom of my screen.
You see chat?
You mean
Right to the left of the green share screen button.
the green? Oh, the green shares. It's not at the bottom. It's all.
No, at the very bottom. At the very bottom. Chat between participants and share screen.
Manage participants.
Oh, maybe because you're sharing your screen, you don't see it.
Yeah.
For me, it's between share and record.
I got it.
It's on this little. If I stop sharing, then
If you stop sharing and you can see the menu at the bottom, you'll see chat.
So open that image file. It'll show you picture of what I did, which is very, very straightforward. Basically, everything on your right under swatches, all that RGB, CMYK, grayscale, pastel, light, pure,
okay.
and another like 15 swatch folders exist. They're groups. You can left click the top one and then scroll down to the bottom and left click the bottom one with shift held down and it'll select them all.
I still haven't got it yet.
Oh.
I'm clicking in chat.
Right. Then the little chat window opens up and you should see Gary's posting of a JPEG. And if you click on it, it'll download it.
I'm not seeing a JPEG on the screen.
On chat?
Oh, you know why? Because if It may be that because you haven't opened your chat window before, you don't see it. Maybe, Gary, if you can re-upload it,
Sure, I'll send it again.
maybe then she'll see it again. That might be what's going on. I don't know.
Okay, this is worthwhile.
There we go. Sending it again.
Okay. So,
Do you see it in the chat window, Beth?
not yet. It's,
Do you see anything in the chat window?
I'm going to, I do, yeah. So Zach said something, you said something.
But you don't, scroll down maybe. You don't, it should be at the bottom of the chat window.
It's, this is all at the top of the chat window.
Right, scroll down to the bottom of the chat window.
Maybe,
You don't see it?
no, there's no scrollage. Is it maybe because I'm in something that I'm, well, I'm gonna just tuck that away there. And,
So you don't see any of the chat.
I see chat over here on the side.
And what do you see?
I see something from Zach, something from you, something from Zach again, and you, and
Did you see that? My last post said, Beth, can you see this? Do you see that?
nope.
Okay, you're not seeing the bottom of the chat window. You got to scroll down. I'm not sure why you're not.
Well, it's not,
Does your mouse have a scroll wheel?
yeah, but it's not.
If you click in the window, can you scroll down if you're not seeing the scroll bar?
When I'm clicking in the chat window,
Mm-hmm.
it's all sitting at the top. It's not something that,
And you can't use your scroll wheel to scroll through the chat? No?
I'm trying.
When you click in the chat window and the scroll wheel doesn't move anything?
No, it doesn't.
So what?
Well, who can see this file? Anyone else?
I think everybody can see it.
Okay.
Well, then can
I could tell them what it means.
Here, well, let me
Send it to
see if I can
everyone.
get it.
I can't see it.
You can't?
Nope. Is it supposed to
Gary?
be in chat?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't.
Huh, interesting. Gary,
Yeah.
we can let you share your screen.
Okay.
So Beth, if you stop, oh, you're not sharing your screen anymore, are
Okay,
you?
I'll share.
Gary, try sharing your screen because I have not disabled that for participants. So you should be able to share your screen for us.
We're learning about our domain. Oh, there we go.
All right.
There you go.
So
Take it away, Gary.
this is all the swatch groups that will exist. And actually, let me just, might as well do it the right way. This is how it started when I opened the new Photoshop. All of these exist. We don't want any of these technically. You want all the swatches that exist inside these gone. So click on the bottom or the top, scroll up to the bottom or the top, the opposite one, hold down Shift. This is a left click, mind you. Hold down Shift and left click again. You've selected them all. Right click on anywhere inside these groups and hit delete groups. Click OK. You'll be left with, you won't have these either. You'll be left with no swatches. Then you can follow the rest of the instructions to create your swatches. You'll create 3, then later in the instructions, you'll create your 4th swatch for your lettering. That's it.
And you're on a PC, right?
I am on a Windows machine. Yeah.
So the left click in Macland is, John, what's left click in Macland?
It should work the same on the Mac.
The mouse clicking is the same.
Yeah, okay. All right. Can you give us a tour of that?
Oh, sorry, I stopped. Oh, hold on, I'll do it again. Give you a tour of what?
Of the project? Is it active? It's active, right?
Yeah, this is the PSD. I mean, this is the art portion.
Yeah, so like maybe some of the layers and
Sure.
Joe,
I started with, and I named these. I started with that E, you see toggling?
yeah,
And I did it really old school, meaning you can see that layer of blue that's on the E, on the outside of the E. I
Yeah.
did that just by using like magic wand and selecting my E and then modifying my selection and expanding it 10 points
uh-huh.
and then filling it in. That's very old school and it's not the right way to do things, but whatever. I was having fun,
Whatever works.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
So I made my E, I made my O, and that guy right there.
yeah,
I made my A down there. I did the
yeah.
same trick I just showed you on all these too for outlining. And then I picked my middle color, my neutral blue,
Mm-hmm.
and I had that running on a straight line, which is right here. I had it running on this straight line through the middle. And just so everything kind of connects. That's why I did the outlining.
Mm-hmm. I like the
And I
way
used-
that, yeah, the A rolls into the O.
Yes. Then I used this other blue, the terrary blue violet and the blue green on the opposite ends of this center blue.
Yeah,
And I filled in the other letters with them. That for accents, I did kind of a screen of letters back here. You can see them better when I get rid of these. Hold on, let me move this. I just did a tile of letters I rotated that stop right on each of the letters, just for a little accenting and interest to your eye. You got the A, small lowercase a's behind the A, lowercase o's behind the O, lowercase e's behind the E. So it's just a design based on the concept of EOA, every other aspect. And when I do my writing, I plan to finish this off with a nice couple paragraphs that talk about when you design. This is just a concept that has always occurred to me. No one taught me this. It just makes sense. You guys are teaching me this now, actually.
yeah,
Consider every other aspect you've laid out, whether it's text or whether it's graphics. If you have the time to do this, mind you, and tie them all together. And then my intention was having this 5x5 display that with various minute details connected to each other. That's the basics.
All right. And you are working on your page?
Yes.
At this point to pull it together in InDesign.
Yeah, I really wanted it done for this so you could just have at least one example while everyone waited for their software. I was intending to do that for a class, but again, I'm teaching my neighbor's kid who's got his own situation and my own son. It's crazy. It's great, but it's crazy.
Well, that's just the spot that we need to be in terms of where everyone else is at, including myself, as I'm trying to revise the instructions. So I might go back and just make sure that just check in with you when I get to the part about the changing all of the swatches.
By all means, yeah, any way I could be helpful.
Folks, my guess is that the reason some people do not see the images posted in the chat window is because you haven't updated to the very latest version of Zoom. I have done that very recently and I see it. If you haven't updated in the last few days, you're probably not running the latest version of Zoom because they've been doing a lot of security updates because of Zoom bombing. And I think part of the security had to do with people uploading weird files in the chat window. So I think they've I think they've regulated that a little more, but if you're not running the latest version of Zoom, it may be that that's why you're not seeing that, because I see it and I've recently updated. And I'm assuming Gary's recently updated since he was able to use that feature.
Yep.
So
If you don't see the file button at the bottom of your chat window, you're probably not using the latest version of Zoom.
So how do you update?
If you go to the zoom.us menu, there's a check for updates.
Okay.
Probably don't want to do it right now while you're on it.
No,
Um,
but
And I posted that in the chat window, and you should see that because that's just text, right?
yeah. I see that.
Okay, just want to make that note.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a guess. That's my working theory anyway.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense.
But after you update, if you can then see files in the chat windows, then my theory is correct.
Right. Well, what I wanted to do is now that we have, so I'm going to go and look at, so Gary, we've got your file. I have your file here in Photoshop, this one that I could use and save. I also have, so I've got this one right here. So the idea is the next step, once you create your file, is that you're going to create a design that you would work up in InDesign. And normally I get a moment here. I mean, you can just fool around with it on your own, but let's see. So I don't know. See, how do I make me big here? Bigger.
What are you trying to make bigger, Beth?
Just my image, so I can show something reflectively on this, on the video. Well, okay, here it is. It's in my, I was just gonna try to make my picture bigger, and I don't know how to do that. So you get a piece of paper like this, like the one that you're going to put it on, and you take one of these devices. Let's see if I can show you here. One of these, it's called a pencil, and you get a flat surface like this, and you place this piece of paper that we just learned about on here, and then you take one of these devices. And
Beth, if you stop sharing your screen, then your square will be bigger.
okay,
People
then
can
I'm
see what
gonna
you're
stop
holding up to the
sharing.
camera easier.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want that, you have to put it in a speaker view. I have it in mine in gallery view right now.
I know that's where
So Beth, you need to stop sharing, and then I know sharing is caring, but you need to stop sharing.
I'm looking for it. Says it's new share. Oh, here it is. Stop share, the little red one.
And
Okay.
now if folks go from gallery view to speaker view, you'll be much bigger.
Okay. So I'm trying to show this.
You know, I
but,
see it's too bright. All I see is a blank sheet of paper. Is there anything written on it?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Oh, okay. Then I do see it.
Can I show it in the big window? Can I enlarge myself?
You are large if people are viewing in speaker view on their computers, but they
Okay,
control that.
I don't know this, but I just can't see myself big. So here's your.
Oh, you should go to speaker view.
Oh, speaker view.
If you up at the top right, if you go from gallery view to speaker view, then you're big. You're real big
Top
and
right.
fuzzy.
Is it all the way to the top right?
Yeah, where it should say gallery view if you're not in speaker view, and then I'm sorry, it should say speaker view if you're in gallery view. If you're in gallery view, it'll say speaker view. It's a toggle. So it either says gallery view or speaker view in the upper right of your screen, of your window.
No, it says there are two little symbols. Oh, yes, you have to point to them. It's like that other stuff. It doesn't say it. It's just
Oh,
got
I
like,
guess if you opened up the
got
window
little-
more, it might.
it's
Yeah.
got like the 9 little squares.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know that that's what that meant. And so then if I click on me, then do I
Click on speaker view.
speaker view?
You have two possible views, speaker view and gallery view. Gallery view is the Brady Bunch view. Speaker view is when you're really big.
Okay, well, I'm in speaker view now.
So now you should be filling your screen, right?
No,
No?
no.
And it says gallery, does it say gallery view in the upper right corner of your screen? Or does it say speaker view?
It's
Wait,
there, it's the picture is gallery view up there.
wait, I want to try something. Yeah, I mean, it tries to sense your mic to see when you're like speaking,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
I'm speaking right now, and I'm not really showing up. But
Well, yes, you are showing up. You're real big, but it just says Zach Snow. I don't see your picture.
yeah, I don't think you can see it. I don't think you can see it from your view. Exactly.
Well, you're
'cause
not,
I'm from
your
mine.
video's not on, so
No, I know.
why we don't see it.
But the thing is that the window for the speaker enlarges, and I think
Right.
what
And you're
I think-
real big, except we can't see you because you're not sharing your video.
That's what I'm saying. Because I can see Beth, but I don't think it works that you can see yourself like on the same screen.
Can you see?
Well, I'm going to change from, let's see here. See, I'm the host, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
But at any rate,
I just need to see you big, see me big like that so that I can show this next part. But that's okay.
well, I see you really big because I'm in speaker view.
Oh, well, okay. But I'm not seeing me really big, so I have to use my little.
Right.
Yeah. So here's the piece of paper. Then I'm going to, this is for students, so I want my square, it can be either like this. Oh, it's too bright.
Too bright.
Yeah, so I'm going to show this, but I'm not showing.
We see some 4 squares. Yeah.
I see I'm showing some squares here. And so this is my thumbnail sketch. I would take more time with it and make sure that everything looked pretty much like I wanted it to look. And then I'm going to take, go into, out of Photoshop and just close Photoshop here. And I'm not going to save that. And then I'm going to open up InDesign, which is where you go next when you're doing this project. And I'm going to go to,
Beth,
yes.
if you share your screen, you should have the option of using what's called the whiteboard, where you can like draw like a drawing app right on the screen, like a
Share
Blackboard.
my screen now.
And then you should see an option that says whiteboard.
Not on the, not on the.
I think you have to share your screen first.
Okay.
Now, do you see
No.
whiteboard?
Okay, I'm seeing more.
Do you see whiteboard?
And
On my Zoom window? No?
no.
Really?
I think
Okay.
you have to get into the options and set it up so it'll appear in more, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so so I'm sharing my screen to show you InDesign and to show you the project and the project instructions, which is the next part to once you have completed your element here.
Oh, there's my alarm for the break. So at the next opportunity. We should take a break.
Well, this will be the last part. We'll be putting it together in InDesign. And so, so I'm headed for this right here. It's the finished part. And so I have a landscape view planned on my page. And after the break, we're going to come back and put the elements on the page. Okay. And so now it's break time, right?
Break time. Okay.
Okay.